Yo, we got smelly balls in here. We got smelly balls. We are live.
King and
type in chat if I am live right now. Type in chat. I see you, smelly. What's good, bro? All right. So I am not streaming to anyone right now, so we're gonna have a good time. I'm gonna react to this debate right now. Smelly, you saw it. Worst debate I have ever seen in my entire life. So let's get started here. Absolutely terrible debate. Honestly, I'll see if Alice will join in real quick. I'll let him know. Cause I don't think he'll know. Let me message him real quick. Yeah, bro. To be honest, I watched the full thing. The only thing was it's like halfway through it was bad, but towards the end, this dissident wire guy was like completely fucking terrible. Like I literally wanted to I can't say what I want to say on YouTube, to be honest, but I wanted to, let's say, jump off of a cliff. That guy sucks. And he was so disingenuous and smug. It did feel like the rhetorically defective debate, to be honest. It felt a lot like that. So I'm going to do a post in the Discord real quick to let them know I'm live. Let's do this real quick. Let me post this real quick. And then we'll go from here. All right. Let's do this, boys. Daily Riot, yeah. Daily Riot was fucking terrible. All right, do you think I should wait for some people to fill in here? Because I know Atlas said he's going to join. I think I should wait for him or some other people to join in real quick. What is up, Romulus? What is good, bro? I'm going to wait for a couple seconds. I'm just going to be reading some chats before I react to the worst debate of all time. And Smelly Balls tells me to talk about my day. So it's pretty boring, to be honest. I went to work. I have a coworker that just like pisses me off the entire day. So that was shitty. But I got off a little bit early and I have no work tomorrow. So, you know, I might even stream tomorrow. But I'm trying to make sure I don't stream when Atlas is or anyone else. Well, to be fair, Merely Reed, you're gonna hear my reaction to this debate because I had a lot of thoughts about it, but I really didn't get to put them out there because I was just watching. And I think some parts where Atlas was talking, I had some points to talk about that Atlas was in the moment and he didn't realize, you know, there's some other things going on here. So I definitely do want to talk about those. So But yeah, man, it's gonna be a good stream. I was gonna have Foulball join me tonight, but he could not make it. But it would be, sometime soon. I think in the mid of July, me, Atlas, and Foulball Pro are going to do an interview together. We're just going to do a triple stream here, and that should be a lot of fun. So, yes, sir. All right, I think we should just get into it now, because this is a 2.5 hour interview, and I don't even know if I'll be able to get through the whole thing, but I'm starting right after Atlas's intro. So, yeah, I did too, Smelly. I also posted it in some Groiper group chats, so we'll see. I honestly, I don't expect them to, because Nick is going to be live. Yo, what's up, Atlas? All right, we'll start now then, since Atlas is in here, so we can see my live reaction.
Fortunately, alongside some pretty other terrible things. And today, we have a good episode for you today. It is a two-time episode, or a two-part episode, I should say, a two-part guest. And it's going to be spicy, if you will. The majority of the collabs so far have been pretty friendly, if you will, between Basil and Mainstream and Groiper Greg and Beardson. Today, we're probably breaking that streak. We're going to probably have a bit of back and forth.
I will say, right before this even begins, Atlas, bro, I know you said that it was going to be a little bit contentious. I really don't think you even knew how contentious this was going to be. Like, this guy was an asshole. He really did. Well, I was telling the chat before you joined in, he was smug the entire time. As soon as you said anything positive about Nick, he immediately turned off his blinders and was just like, yeah, that's it. So yeah, this guy just sucks. And I made a comment back to him because someone called him basically like a leftist in right-wing terms, and he did not take that well. But yeah, let's continue.
Here, revolving all around Nicholas J. Fuentes and America First, Charlie Kirk, Andrew Wilson, TP USA, and a few other topics in between all of those. So without boring you with the long intro, no introductions needed, and we're already on Zeboykin time. Here are both Zeboykin and the Daily Riot. Welcome in, guys. Who are you and what do you do? I guess starting with Zeboykin.
Oh, well, before we continue, Merely Reed, you're totally right. At first, when I watched this debate, I was thinking that Zeb was going to be completely on his side, but you could see Zeb's right eyelid raise when he was like, "Oh yeah, but Nick's counter signaling Tucker," and Zeb was like, what are we doing here? What is going on right now?" So I do like Zeb as a person. I don't necessarily agree with the means of the politics, but what I will say is that he did do a pretty good job of moderating the positions, even though he's more on Dissident Wire's side. I'm not sure what the percentage is there, but it definitely did seem like he was trying to moderate. So yeah, we'll continue.
Oh, who am I? I am American, but I'm also the biggest Groiper. I'm Nick's greatest fan, obviously. Nick, I'm a Nicker, if you want to me to tell you the truth. So
Zeb is a Nicker.
I'm just some dude that says things at a camera angrily most of the time.
Perfect. And Daily Riot, okay. Who are you?
Just make content on what's going on. I mean, I used to watch Nick Fuentes for a while until he started changing his tune a little bit, defending Israel, the Jews.
See, this is where the disagreement is, right? And listen, I knew it was going to be a little bit
right away.
I wouldn't even say hostile, but I knew it'd be confrontational, argumentative, maybe, perhaps in that element. Obviously, I am a Groiper. I am full send, obviously, with Nick Fuentes and America First. I have been heavily disagreeing with Zeb in a lot of these instances, basically since Charlie Kirk.
I
think probably
agree.
the last time me and
Tex.
Zeb agreed
Totally agree.
on the general direction of politics was before Charlie Kirk was unfortunately taken from us. But since then, we've kind of had some nuanced conversation between all these different things. So with that being said, since I'm feeling I'm going to be on the, I guess I'm going to be on the defense here. I'll throw it back to you guys in relevance to whatever you want to start with, whether it's Charlie Kirk or just Nick Fuentes in general, with what you guys say you think is his.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it,
Bro.
just by thinking about it. Meet Base 40.
Changing of positions. So I'll turn it back to both
That
of you.
was so
whatever you
annoying.
guys
I
would like
have
to go
a
first. That's where it
YouTube
starts.
Premium on my main account. I'll have to
Why
buy
didn't
it
he
on
get
here
arrested?
real quick. Actually, let me pause it real quick so I can do that. 1 second. How do I do this on computer? Whatever. We'll just go through the debate for now. My main account on YouTube, what I use currently, has YouTube Premium. And I will say, the only reason I'm using this right now is because Foulball this is what he uses. He uses Streamlabs only, or StreamYard, sorry. So I'm using this on my computer, and my main account does not have Premium. So we'll go from here, and if there's like too many ads, which is like really annoying, we'll go from there. But I really don't know how many ads there's going to be. But if there is, I'll just buy Premium right here and now, and we'll continue. But what I will say right off the start, this guy Dissonant Wire looks like a gnome, to be honest. Like, he looks like a straight up gnome. Like, he belongs in a garden somewhere like super foreign, like maybe like Thailand or somewhere in Asia. He can just be a gnome there. Because, like, fuck this guy. Especially after what he did to Atlas. So let's continue.
This is where we're going.
I'm jumping in, bro.
So we're doing the.
Oh boy.
We're doing the.
I'm
What's it
jumping right
called?
in from the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess my response is like, I think that he's already shown the transcripts, the receipts. I think he was shut down for quite a bit after that, taken off of a lot of different platforms. Well, that was also happening before and after too. But you got the transcripts already from the, I believe it was the FBI agent or was it his lawyer? They gave a verbatim answer to the question, which was he had not been in contact with any
That's
federal
totally true,
agents
Neely.
before. And that was it last
Oh,
year.
it's not
he posted that?
monetized?
I don't think that
Well,
was
I
the
might as well
question.
keep the ads
Yeah.
up for
So
you.
here's the
Atlas,
thing.
and
This
everyone
guy
on
was
there.
leading the insurrection, as they say it is. But there was people who looked in the direction of what was going on there, and they
I'm gonna respond to Atlas real quick. Just use Brave browser. StreamYard, which is what Foulball put me onto. You cannot use Brave browser on it. I have it on my computer. It's my like main platform for like looking up things and doing research. But on Streamlabs or StreamYard, you literally cannot go to other browsers or else the audio will turn off. So I'm using this because I'm not too familiar with OBS yet. But if I can, you know what? I'm going to log in on my phone right now to my new YouTube. And I'm just going to buy Premium because I'm not going to be watching ads this entire time. Yeah, that's just ridiculous, to be honest. Give me 1 second. All right, I'll play it right now and we'll just continue. But I'm
were
gonna
arrested and
do this
charged.
right now.
were just looking in that direction. This guy had a loud horn leading the whole thing on. Why did he walk away scot-free from that situation?
Well, The first thing you said was just wrong though. Like leading
What
from
do
the
you mean?
front, he was nowhere near the front.
He
was
had
actually
he had a loud horn.
he had a loud.
was
A lot of people had a
inciting.
loud horn. He
was
wasn't even
inciting.
on Capitol grounds where he was located. He was in a much different location, right? And so now I'm having to go back. I didn't even think we were going to do the January 6th stuff. So there was what? There's three locations
That was-
around
the
where people
reason
were
why
allowed to
I say that,
protest.
by the way, is because that was the first time I was like, wait a minute, something's weird here. That's the first thing that set off my red flags, and I started looking at it critically.
So did you? Okay, so let me ask you this.
Before we move on, the whole reason this guy stopped being a quote unquote, I don't even think he's a groper, like fuck this guy, but the reason he stopped following America First is going to be later on, but he says it's because Nick like made jokes about Jeffrey Epstein being cool. So yeah, you know, that's all you need to know really, is this guy's just like retarded. Like I actually commented back on Atlas's YouTube channel because someone called him like something fascist or whatever, you know, a leftist fascist or whatever. And I commented back, I was just like, yeah, I think Jake Shields would be better in a debate than you. And it's true, because this guy had 0 points. This guy's just the bottom of the barrel. And the sad part is too, is Atlas has been talking about him for a while, or at least like in like previous streams where he's like, yeah, you know, this guy Disney Wire seems like a good guy. And then immediately after, he has his guys infiltrate his Discord and like completely take it over. Like, what is even that? So
did you stop listening to Nick Fuentes in 2021, or was it in 2025?
No, I stayed. I saw a lot of stuff that was weird. I stayed all the way up until he started glazing Epstein, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
So that was it. So it wasn't. So
Dang,
it
you
wasn't the
pulled a full
January
8
6th.
seconds over there, didn't you, dude? You held on a long time.
I did, because I was just like, I wanted him to be legit. I did, and I stuck with it until I was like, I can't anymore, bro.
So you were.
I got a bottle of hopium. It's still full.
Yeah. I was
Haven't drank any of
smoking
it yet.
hopium.
Smoking it.
Websites your competitors don't want you to know. Part 2.
oh my gosh.
All you do is go to this website.
I am
and it lets you find out-
getting the
Yeah.
The thing I would say back to that
You know
would
what
be
I'm saying?
like, well, that just makes me think like you didn't really think much of the federal accusations then. They've existed since then. It's been pushed for 6 years now, 5 years now.
No, I did, but I was committed, and I was just like, I want him to be right, because he was going hard. He was going harder than most people that I saw out there.
Yeah.
He just wasn't making it into
It's,
the
just, it's
mainstream.
still true to this day. He is going harder than most people.
Yeah, but
That's
he's
actually
not
a true
making it into
thing.
the mainstream. Like people like Dan Bilzerian, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, these are the ones changing minds of like the regular normies out there. And the weird thing is he's attacking them. So that actually is another thing that gets me like, why is he doing that? What is his goal in attacking those people?
So are you talking specifically about Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens? Did you reference someone else? I might have missed.
All of the main, Dan Bilzerian, he's attacked them all, really.
Dan Bilzerian
attacked
is
Owen
an
Schroyer,
idiot.
like all of
Dan
them. bro.
Bilzerian is an idiot. Let's
That
start right
doesn't
there.
mean anything. I don't know what that means.
Well, it means that he does not possess any ounce of political acumen to be relevant in any
It's
way,
fine,
shape,
bro.
or form.
Most of these people don't.
So then
Like,
why would it matter if he's attacking them then if they don't
because
have any
he's
political
waking.
acumen?
Okay, the point is
He's
he's
waking
actually
people up. That's
moving the
crazy.
needle in the right direction with what he's saying, because he's got a lot more followers than Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, all these people combined. So
How
he's
much-
actually moving. He's moving the needle because more people see him than see Nick Fuentes. So why would he try to throw a wrench in the works there?
Because he has more followers because he built it off the back of being a degenerate,
It's fine.
pushing stuff on Instagram.
I understand, bro.
Hold on, I'll let you
But there's a
speak.
goal, right?
I let you speak. He got his following majoritively off of the back of a bunch of gambling, the IG push, a
All right,
bunch
we're
of having
good
a
now.
woman,
We
all
got
of
the
kind of
membership
lifestyle
up.
Instagram
So
kind of
we're
thing to
good
push.
now.
He's also a trust fund kid. But the reason he's getting attacked too is also because
And
And
now
Jewish.
it's on my
He's
phone
Jewish
as
too.
well.
and
So-
Jewish too. Yes,
Nah,
definitely.
I
He's
don't
Jewish.
think so.
Was it 12%?
I don't believe that.
Is it 12%?
I don't believe that. First of all, you're gonna.
Bro, he literally just said he doesn't believe Dan Bilzerian is 12% Jewish. He said it in his own words in a memo. he was talking about who was it? It was some actor. Not sure who it was, but he wrote something about him getting canceled. And he's like, well, I'm 12% Jewish, and I don't care about these things. He even said, he's like, there was a story about a white kid who got pushed out of I don't even remember what it was, but he was like making fun of the white kid. He's like, yeah, it's fine if they exclude the white kid. It was in some excerpt from an interview. Yeah. Who was that from, by the way? What actor was that from? I'm trying to think about it. Mel Gibson. It was Mel Gibson. He made an excerpt about Mel Gibson. He put in there, I'm 12% Jewish and I don't care about these jokes. He says, I don't know the exact quote, but it was something like, I don't care if white kids get excluded for something. It was like a teacher who excluded, a white kid from doing something. He was like, I thought that was funny too. And Nick reacted to it as well. It's like such a joke. This guy's like retarded. And, Dissident Wire too. It's like this type of guy, this type of person, he's just not serious. He doesn't really have any true beliefs, and he's still following the crowd. Dan Bilzerian and all these guys. He said 12% isn't Jewish, then deleted the tweet. Yeah, he did. He did delete the tweet, which is hilarious because and Beardson talked about this too. It's like, we don't care that you're Jewish. We care that you're talking about genociding an entire people, and you're basically saying like, I'm fine with that. It's like, no, bro, we're actually, Christian on this side of the aisle. We don't really want to kill anyone. We just don't want Israelis in our politics. And then Dan Bilzerian on the other aisle is out there being like, okay, yeah, we're gonna show up with guns. We're gonna storm Israel and kill all the Jews. It's like, no, bro, that's kind of seems like some Fed shit. And from what we know now, it definitely seems like that. Let's continue.
You're gonna have to define what that even means before you.
I gotta pause less.
Like that doesn't even make any sense. Is there a DNA test that tells you he's Jewish?
Yeah, he published. He admitted to it in an article back in like 2022 or something.
Yeah,
but yeah, Atlas isn't wrong here, and I don't think Daily Riot's wrong either. I think both of you have completely valid arguments. My question is, why do we have to decide between these two?
Yeah, exactly. Like, see, here's my side of this thing. Nick Fuentes, even though I'm suspect, I may be suspect of Nick Fuentes, but even he is still to some degree moving the needle in that right direction.
I would disagree. I think he is a subversive. I think that Zib would agree with this, actually, that he is literally a subversive. He's taking all the opportunities. For one, announced a campaign that he has put $0, zero contributions. The primary for the election for it's in August. That's a big joke. He basically gave Randy Fine a golden pass to go ahead and win his election. And second to that, what is he arguing for? He's arguing all about like how white supremacy is bad, and you have the black supremacy, and you have Dan Bilzerian has no political acuity. And if any,
I will say here, Atlas, you were totally right on this. Like the fact that he's defending him, saying he's pushing the message forward. Also, it's like, yeah, he has a lot of followers, he does. But Beardson talked about this as well, where it's like, followers don't equal influences. It doesn't equal influence. And at the end of the day, too, it's like Matt Nuclear went live on X, and he's like, yeah, I have 2,000 viewers or whatever on combined with YouTube, all these other platforms. And X doesn't even count views. They just show people who pass it by. And with Dan Bilzerian, his whole career was made off the back of, sleeping with a lot of women, having a lot of money. And no one knew he was a trust fund kid when you were growing up. I remember, I'm 24. When I was 15, 14, 16, around that age, I was looking at Dan Bilzerian's profile with my friends being like, oh, he's a badass because I'm young. And you come to find out later, he got the money from his dad. And not only that, but his dad is involved in like a bunch of scams and like shady shit. It's like, yeah, no wonder you have money. And he's a manlet. He's 5'8", 5'9", and I'm 5'10". I'm not tall at all, but this guy's smaller than me. You know, you can be jacked up on roids and have a ton of money, and any woman will follow you. Even if you're 5'1" and have a bunch of money, women will follow because they don't really care about ethics or morals. And this is what Nick preaches about, where it's like, you know, women don't really care about much besides money. And I know that preaches against what Clav teaches, but if you have a couple $1 million, you know, women will just follow. And that's the truth. You know, they don't really have morals the same as men. You know, we hold it down over here on the AF side. But let's continue.
Anything, the reason why he had any relevance at all was because he was one of these people who you
I
wouldn't expect to
appreciate
be
you for being
joining
in
the crowd,
talk
if you will.
or in the
Also,
chat,
you know,
Atlas. I
naming the
really
Jew.
do.
But beyond there, he's done what? All he's
We'll
done
have
is
to do
actually
a
just attack men.
collab soon. I know you said
I'm
like
not
a month
necessarily
or so.
opposed to
yeah.
to the Bulgarian run. Obviously, it's a losing position, but you could say the same thing about Casey. And so this idea that we can't run people because they're going to lose is just delusional.
This
I mean,
argument is so
this
painful.
praise of Hitler and National Socialism in Germany. I mean, they ran multiple elections knowing they were going to lose prior to.
Chat, let's not try to get Atlas in the call right now. He's just like happy to not have to talk right now. But what I will say about this argument on Zeb's behalf, you know, what he's saying right now is like, okay, yeah, Casey was going to lose, Dan is going to lose, but it pushes the message forward. It's like, not really. It gives the enemy ammunition, which is about to be Atlas's argument in the future here once we're watching it forward. So what I will say is that's just not true. That's not true. Most people who are rational, who aren't red pill, will look at this interview and they'll see Zeb saying like, yeah, let's just go for Dan Bilzerian and, you know, all these guys who are just not viable. It's like, yeah, you know, I'm not really feeling the whole let's go over to Israel and kill all Jews thing. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And it's honestly kind of despicable too. Without Christianity, this movement is nothing. And, you know, I think the movement would kind of look like Dan Bilzerian's if it weren't for Christianity. You know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous. Totally
Actually
ridiculous.
winning. You can say the same thing about like the whole concept with Restore Britain right now. I mean, they've run losing elections intentionally for a long time. Just because you're going to lose doesn't mean you don't try. And this is a big issue I have with Nick is his entire premise for a lot of this is why waste money on things when you know you're going to lose. But it falls flat when you look at history, and you need to at least try to do the thing to even move the needle. And then he goes on a lot too. And it's like Buchanan laid the groundwork for all of this. Is Buchanan a loser? Sure, we can say
no,
that.
but definitionally,
if he
he's
wins,
a loser.
no. If the nationalism wins, if it gains enough ground and it wins, is Buchanan a loser? The answer is obviously no. Along with, you can go all the way back to Rock.
So Nick talks about this a lot, where it's like the beautiful loser thing, where Republicans are like okay to lose as long as it's on principle. And losing on principle is obviously just not cool at all. Like, that fucking sucks. It's not cool to lose on principle. You have to do whatever you can to win. And Nick, as a political figure, as someone who's above most people, you know, he is a force in politics. If he, and I know Atlas goes into this later, and we'll see, but even if we did back Casey Putsch, what's our enemy going to say? What are they going to say? They're going to say that, yeah, Nick has no political power. He has no influence on politics whatsoever, and they're going to use that against him. So it's so ridiculous to say, yeah, Nick should have backed Dan Bilzerian and Casey Putsch, two people who have never put any fucking work behind their campaign. And I'm getting mad right now because this is ridiculous. And I hate this argument so much. You know, saying that we're just going to be beautiful losers and we're just going to go out there and vote we're just going to vote for the losers and, you know, be happy with it. It's retarded. It makes no sense. And, you know, Zeb, I like him. And, honestly, fuck Dissident. But, you know, from Zeb's point of view, he's an older guy. And even Zeb posted on X the other day, he's like, politics or revolutions are meant for the young people. And that's true. And revolutions aren't with guns anymore. They're with politics. Revolutions don't come through just simply pointing a gun at someone, because we have the strongest military in the US in the entire history of the world. They would shut you down immediately. They'd throw you in jail. It would be over. So let's just forget all of that and focus on political solutions. And Nick's right. If we can't do that, it's over. We're not going to pick up an AR-15 against the government and be like, yeah, we're just going to throw you over. No, that doesn't work anymore. That's not the world we live in, and we need to live in reality. And Merely Reed says, in a principled society, a beautiful loser is respectful, except we no longer live in a principled society. Totally true. And that is the problem with a lot of these people who still have this idea that we're just going to continue winning. It just won't happen, man. It won't happen.
Well, or whoever you want to, but
Well,
this idea.
Every little bit of it helps is your point, and I agree with that.
but the point being, though, well, on two ends, you would look at Pat Buchanan not winning the presidency, not actually holding power. I mean, that's what we consider to be winning, right? Like that's the W is winning. Looking at him as a historical kind of element of building off the back of is entirely a different. That's two different things. Like the same way can be said of like GLR. You could go down the line of some of these different people.
I disagree with the entire premise of winning and losing in this narrow window. It's like, okay, did we win World War II? Obviously, we're getting fucked over right now. So did we? And so this concept of like a direct dichotomy of winning and losing in this concept this is a problem that just America in general has, and maybe it's just an English concept or a European concept. It's like winning isn't
totally
this
retarded argument, by the way.
Winning isn't this, oh, we got 4 years, we're gonna win.
So on this argument, World War II was not lost because of some magical thing. It was lost because the entire world was against them, and part of that was propaganda and everything else. But to be fair, I've watched Outside the Overton for 2 years, and at one point Zeb said that he thinks Hitler was a Christian, and Josh disagreed. But this is where we're at, where it's like there's delusional opinions, and I like Zeb as a person. You know, I'm not trying to shit on him. I'm not trying to hate on him. But at the end of the day, it's not realistic to think that World War II was lost because of all, whatever. It just doesn't really matter. And at the end of the day, we need to focus on the future, and losing on principle will never do us any good. And that's just true. And if Zeb was in Nick's position and if he had the same brain, I'm sure he would make the same decisions. But, I can speak for everyone in this chat. We're not as smart as Nick Fuentes. And if you can't say that out loud, I don't even know what to say, to be honest.
In the presidency, oh shit, we won. Now what the fuck do we do? Repeat. It's like, okay, this is a very, very long game. Let's stop casting losses. You're a loser on people that have literally laid the foundation for you to come out and name the Jew.
Then
Claim that you're the one that really noticed, not literally 2,000 years of history.
Yeah. That's
I don't
another
think that
thing
Nick would say
actually
he like
annoys me.
invented noticing. I saw one of the notes that one of you guys put
I
in there.
did that. I put that.
Yeah,
on there.
like that to me was just like he's never said that. Like he wouldn't claim
Yeah,
to
but
be the
he-
one that he
all
was the
the
first to
Voyagers act
notice.
like he's the one who brought this idea
No, no,
of
no.
noticing to the masses. Like, come on, bro. I was like, back in after 9/11, I started realizing this stuff. You know what I mean?
But,
So-
but let me go back to
I
your
will-
Atlas, Zeb posted something in chat today. He said the only way to fix the deep state is to be in it. Or he said the only way to fix the swamp is to be in it. But then when we talk about infiltrating institutions, he brings it to violent revolution. And I made that comment in your stream on YouTube today because that's what he posted in there. So he contradicted himself but didn't even know it. And it's true, though. You do have to be in the swamp or in the deep state in order to change it. But as soon as Nick says that we need to infiltrate institutions, he says, well, maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe that's not the main idea. Maybe we should just have a violent revolution. It's like, I mean, I don't really know what he's getting at. And I like Zeb. Everyone knows that, he's a good guy. And Merely Reed says that that is why we need to not blackpill. And what I will say to that, Merely Reed, I've been thinking about it a lot recently. I talked to my mom on the phone like a couple days ago, and I realized like if you don't have fun with politics, if you don't enjoy it, if it's not something that you like and like want to change, then it's not for you. Like if you seriously get depressed over politics and are like down on your luck and like wanting to like, jump off of some type of thing, I'm on YouTube, maybe politics isn't for you. But for me, I don't blackpill because I have Christ and I love this stuff. I've been watching Atlas for a long time and now he's in my chat, I never thought this would ever happen, but I like politics. I really like it. I love this shit. And I'd die for Nick. I'd die for Atlas, because these people are pushing the message forward. Right now, I have I have like, 3 viewers in chat? I'd die for Atlas because I know he's going to continue to push the message forward. I would die for Nick Fuentes. I'd die for Jesus Christ because I care about this shit. And I'm not blackpilling no matter what. So I'll just say that. Anyone who's blackpilling about politics, it's just not for you at that point because life is hard already. And for us people who are not in politics right now, it's a hobby. And so this is just like, I'm getting deep into it right now, but you kind of do have to have fun. And, I see that in Atlas. I see that in Tix. I don't know Merely Reed that much, but I see that in Smelly. We have fun and politics suck and it's like hard and it's depressing, but you have to have fun or else, a lot of people won't make it. So that's what I'll say about that.
Point though, Zeb, because I want to hone in on the winning and losing.
Okay,
thing.
go ahead.
It's because what we're doing is we're addressing Pat Buchanan as the whole. But that's not the context and in the window of addressing Dan Bilzerian and Casey Putsch, because we're talking about them winning their specific races, right? Looking at Dan Bilzerian specifically, Dan Bilzerian, for one, he's not even trying. And second to that, it's in a district where the constituency and the demographic makeup, the two biggest groups in there is Jews and then evangelical Zionists. It was like
I don't disagree.
And then the same thing going into Casey, right? Casey, not in the same vein of the constituency, but Casey in the vein that he didn't actually run a good campaign.
Thanks, Mike.
See you next month.
So you
One
can get these
second.
delivered?
I might
It's
have
literally
to,
water.com.
In the sense that there was not enough money that was being put.
I might have to refresh this stream because I did buy premium already. So let me do that right now. Let me mark the time real quick. 14:03.
King, unfortunately,
Give me 1 second.
the sense that there was
All right. Let me. Is it working now? Is it still up?
not enough money that
I
was being
agree.
put into
There
it.
we
He
go.
didn't do enough events. So what I would
And
would say-
what I will say to Atlas right now too, bro, it's like, you know, I've listened to a lot of Pine Sap, and this is a serious conversation right now. I've struggled a lot in the past with like drug abuse and like, you know, I've been through a lot of hard times. I was addicted to Xanax for 2 years. I was addicted to Kratom, which is a legal drug you can get off the shelf, for, you know, another 2 years. I've been through a lot, and, you know, the one thing that has kept me going is God, but not only that, but this movement. And I got sober for this shit because I want to take it seriously. And since I don't have a lot of following, and, you know, don't have the motion per se to keep this shit going, like, yeah, I would die for Atlas. I'd die for Nick. I'd die for Christ. And that is because I want young men, especially Gen Z, to get radicalized. You know, Gen Alpha too. You know, I want this movement to continue forward, and I see you, Atlas, as like a way to shift it more to the right. You know, a lot of these people on YouTube who do politics, it's surface level. Even Asmongold, for example, like, he's posting this, like, I don't even know. He hates Islam, which I get, you know, we all do, but he is still captured by this like Zionist thing, and he's a mainstream political person. So we need to rally around the people, and I mean everyone in chat. There's not, you know, there's probably 3 or 4 of you. Everyone in chat, we need to rally around these people like Atlas, like Nick, like Beardson, like Tyler. We need to rally around them, because if not, I mean, we're shit out of luck for this country. We need to move forward. You know, this isn't a joke. This isn't, you know, this isn't games. I know we like to have fun and everything. We all like to have fun, but in all seriousness, we need people like Pine Sap. We need people like Nick. We need people like Alice. We need people like Beardson. We need people like Tyler. Because this, and this is completely real. Like, I don't see a way this movement moves forward without these people. I genuinely don't. You know, if Nick dies tomorrow, like, what we're gonna get, like, what? You know, Matt Nuclear. Like, who are we even gonna get? There's no one else. And that's what in this stream, they're like, oh, we need a better leader. It's like Atlas said, like, okay, who? No one has an idea, because no one is as good as Nick. No one is as compelling. No one is as funny. You know, we need that. We need culture. And Nick, Atlas, Beardson, you know, Tyler, Jimbo, all these guys are culture, and they're moving it forward. And, you know, Atlas hit almost 100 viewers today, which doesn't happen in a while. So, you know, I'm posting him in all the Groyper group chats. I'm trying to get his message out there, you know, trying to spread positivity. So, yeah, Tom Foe too. I definitely want to get him on here sometime soon as well. He is fucking dope, dude. All right, yeah, let's continue here. Sorry for getting all serious.
beyond there is Nick not supporting these guys. Often he was being at arm's length from Casey Putsch. He was trying to avoid it, but Casey kept essentially begging for the endorsement. But Nick was unwilling to put his W on that, or his name on that, because if it does turn out to be a loss, it does reflect upon the America First movement. And so much of what Nick has been since the big war, the optics war in 2017, has been about optics. That's the point I was bringing up about GLR. Like, he laid framework, and I think he's one of the most passionate speakers. I like listening to his speeches. But the problem is that I can go on YouTube right now and find a 9-minute video talking shit about GLR where the guy says he wishes he had the chance to kill him. That's the problem, because GLR, he lost the optics war. Having the Nazi swastika armband and sitting there with the pouty face, that's what the Democrats use. He became ammunition to be used against us. That's the true loss in there. The same way that Pat Buchanan fell out of good graces, but it took how many years before we could even enter back into the conversation. I would argue that what he did in the losses actually gave ammunition for us to have losing ground. That's in the context that I would say that.
Okay, let's say we have good optics. What does that look like in a campaign? Does that look like, I don't know, maybe JD Vance? Does that look like Donald Trump? See, this is the problem is when you're going to compromise on optics, you're compromising on position entirely. And so we're going to get exactly what we're going to get. We're going to get a Vivek and a
This argument right here, when I was first watching the stream, pissed me off so much. It's like, what are we going to get? Vivek Ramaswamy or JD Vance? It's like, no, that's our entire mission, is to not get these people in office. And I know a lot of people don't know like how to like process the whole like voting for Democrat and 2026, but that is the point. That's what we're doing. And Tom Foe, shout out Atlas for bringing him up, but he has talked about this a lot where it's like, we don't have any guarantees here. There's no guarantees in any of this. But the best chance we have to not get JD Vance or Vivek into power is to vote Democrat. If anyone has a better option, tell me. I'd love to have a conversation with Zeb on this channel sometime. If you can set that up, Atlas, I would be down. But I literally don't see another way. People like JD Vance, like they're so institutionalized that the only real way to get him out is to like completely destroy the GOP. And, everyone in here is a groyper, so we get it. But people on the fringes, people on the outside, including Zeb, they don't get it. And you know what it is? I don't even know as much. Like some of it is an IQ gate. I really do think that some of it is like an age gap. If you're, a millennial and you're like 36, 35, and I just don't see the way that you'd really understand this. But politics isn't just like magic. It's a game. We're playing chess, We're not playing checkers, we're playing chess. Every board piece has a viable option, but we need to pick the best one to go forward. And right now it does seem like Democrats in 2026, so that we can push the board pieces forward to win the game. And if we don't do that, I just don't see a way to do this. Yeah, good night, Tix. Shout out Tix Bomber. We will put him on the show right now. All right, good night, brother. But yeah, man, I really don't understand Zeb's position. Atlas, if you can type in chat what you think his position is while I keep this playing, because I don't understand it. I don't even know if you do, but it's rough, bro. Like I just don't understand it. And this dissident guy, like, he left the movement because Nick made jokes about Jeffrey Epstein being cool. Like, what are we even doing? This guy wants Hitler, but he's going to be mad about like a Jeffrey Epstein quarter zip. And you know what? Just because of that, I'm going to buy the white quarter zip today. Like literally, like fuck that guy. But yeah, let's continue. Zeb, if
Ohio
you can let me know
in the
what
White House.
Zeb's
I disagree.
position
This is
Well,
like
look
this
at
is the
Fishback.
consequence of ceding the entire rhetorical position.
This is how you end up moving closer and closer to the left. This is how it's happened over the years because the right's like, well, maybe we're too extreme. Let's just pull back and compromise. We'll slowly work it in there. But eventually what ends up happening is the needle just keeps moving left. And the same thing's going to happen here.
Well, I would disagree. I think the Overton window in the Broad is actually moving further and further to the right. I mean,
Just recently, though, after decades, just recently.
This has been kind of a slow walk since 2020. COVID kind of soft launched this because that's when what do they call it? Politics became pop culture. Most people started getting tuned in. It had broken this kind of long running concept that most people didn't pay attention to politics. Now a lot of people are involved in politics. I guess the broader point here is like, yeah, the optics heavily matter.
I just connected Claude to Airtable, and now
Bro,
I have
what
this
in the
content
world?
strategy agent that manages my entire content pipeline. Here's how it works. So Claude is my thought partner. Every week, Claude scans Reddit.
And I heard this bit from Aspengold
I
too
just
from earlier, and
bought
it's wild that he even had this comment.
Premium. Let me check.
But this idea that you can outfront the moment you start running the race, you are leading from the front with your most extreme positions, and then that is going to be, for one, politically expedient, or two, politically palatable for a constituency who's not all going to agree with you. It is setting you up to lose. It's like we refuse to learn the lessons of Pat Buchanan's loss, of GLR's loss. We look at these people with reverence, but we don't take into account the fact that they lost. GLR got killed. You
We're
can't
not winning a democracy. I don't see how y'all don't understand that. You're not winning a vote. Like, it's not happening. We can't get deportations.
Yeah.
Now we can't get birthright. And
So on this point right here, Zeb is saying basically that it's not about winning democracy. And I'd agree with that. You know, it's not about winning democracy, quote unquote. The point is to pretty much destroy democracy. Like, fuck it. Like, what do we have to lose? And the only way to do that is by infiltrating the systems, infiltrating the government, you know, having a president with groypers in power as well, you know, and they can rally behind him. Because if not, what are we even doing? You know, and if this is Zeb's idea that we're just gonna, you know, violently revolt against them without, you know, getting voted in, it doesn't really make any sense if you really think about it. It's kind of a joke. So yeah, I really don't understand what he's saying here. It really makes no sense. And at the end of the day, we really do need to put our power behind people who are politically expedient, like James Fishback. You know, he might not win, but he's going to take away a lot of votes from Byron Donalds. You know, and that will show the Groyper power. You know, that will show that we do have institutional power, that we're not just some, you know, fake institution. You know, we do have some power, but with the will of God, you know, if we can pray on it, you know, Fishback will win. And you know, a lot of people say he's fake, but you know, I really do disagree. I think that political people do have to aid and abet their constituency. You know, they have to play into whatever they're doing. Yeah, good night, Atlas. Shout out Atlas Thug. Put it up on screen right now. Good night, brother. Hope you sleep well, dog. All right, let's get back into the video.
And so what are you left with? You're left with an invasion of 100, 200 million people voting on the ballot in a democratic state that we live in to make laws, to push people into the seat. I mean, take Donald Trump and his own SCOTUS voting against us. Like, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get women in power, and you're going to get these wish-washy conservatives into positions of power that say what the people that vote for them want them to say, which is JD Vance and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And then when they get in power, it's all gone. And so your win from a political, I guess this is the core of the argument. Is
It's
there a
the
political
TPUSA conservatives, basically.
Yeah. Is it,
Yeah, Muley Reed, it's totally like that. It seems like Zeb thinks there's this like magical thing called like revolution where you just like maybe not even snap your fingers, like, you know, but like it's more so that, you know, he does believe that if basically 10% of the country, you know, maybe 30% of the country, if we're lucky, the far right people will just stand up with their AR-15s and pointing at the government, that they'll stand down. It's like, no, dude, our government is like crazy powerful. They have unlimited ammunition. They have unlimited guns. They have unlimited planes. They have unlimited helicopters. They could spawn in on you and just completely ruin you. Can you put a Jay Collins pick next to Zeb? I cannot. I'm brand new to streaming, brother, but I appreciate everyone for being in here too. You know, this is my first real stream, so this is gonna be good. But I will have I will have Atlas and Foulball on in the mid of July, so you can look forward to that. I might stream that as well. And then there's another guy. His name is Blasphemer on YouTube. He reacts to Nick videos, like his his main show, and he is phenomenal. He just got back to me on X and told me that he'll let me know when he's gonna plan for the next video. So that's gonna be sick. I'm convinced Zeb and Jay are the same person. Yeah, well, the guy Dissonant Wire on the far right, he looks like kind of like a goblin. Like if you put his face and like made him green, he would literally look like a goblin. All right, let's do this, bro.
But
Is it
that's-
a political position to win, and the answer is obviously no. And so the optics that you're vying for are not going to get you elected. On top of, then you're not moving the needle with which you ought to move the needle. Meaning the Overton window is going to close on you as you continue to.
Yeah, Dissonant Wire and Daily Riot, they have different names, but I get them so confused. Like every single time I look at it, like I have dyslexia, so like I'm literally like so fucking confused with words like that. So they like to me they look the exact same. So it's like very hard to like compartmentalize. But yeah, it's definitely difficult for me. But we're gonna keep moving forward. We're gonna have a good stream tonight. So shout out Romulus, shout out Merely Reed, shout out MT the Goat for popping out tonight. And Tix Bomber. I don't know if he's still in here, but shout out him.
Move left because you're necessarily going to have to, given the premise of your argument of optics.
So this is why it's never Vance, never Rubio, because the current
Just
conservative.
Vivek, though.
What's that?
Just Vivek.
Oh wait, MT the Goat says collab with Mello. Well, I haven't reached out to him yet, but I do want to get some of the other collabs I have lined up first. My first interview was with Foulball. It's on my channel right now. Most of you probably checked that out already, but it was an amazing conversation. He's a good dude. I was on Brave browser then, so I couldn't screen share my videos. So there was like some technical difficulties, but I'd love to have Mello on. He seems like a cool dude, be very interesting. But you should check out Blasphemer on YouTube. If you have any questions, you can message me on X. Let me pull it up real quick. If you want to follow me on X, I can send you over to him. He's an amazing YouTuber. My X account is at cap LOLOL 333. And then the username is It's Capo Graper. But great guy. Let's continue.
Well, what's the options? You have a vacant Amy Acton. And the concept there
You
would be
didn't even try to get Casey pushing.
Casey Push
You
didn't even try. I find that argument
campaign, but
that argument. He didn't.
Sure, he didn't run a good campaign.
So the onus is not on the Groypers for not going and joining and supporting Casey Push. The onus is on Casey Push knowingly and willingly not putting his best foot forward, knowing he didn't have the money to run. And even on top of that, when he's doing these videos,
it's so hard
compare
not
the
to pause
45-second
every
clips
2
from Fishback
seconds with
to the
these
10-minute
comments, bro.
diatribes from Casey Push. Which do you think people are actually paying attention to, listening to, and like vibing with? You know,
I think Fishback is a complete plant too, but that's beyond the point. The point is that we talk about A-logging Nick all the time. I mean, Nick's A-logging people that are actually running a campaign. I mean, Casey Push didn't have the money and the campaign acumen or whatever he needed in that aspect because he's still living a normal life. This is a normal dude, which gets shit on all the time by someone named Fuentes.
So that's what I've noticed.
So this whole argument of he's just a normal guy, it's like, well, maybe don't run a campaign then. You know, if you're not serious about it, if you're not going to go out there and campaign and do events and, you know, maybe just not like sit in your garage for the entire time and, you know, post videos of you that are low quality and, you know, low energy as well. That's something we can't forget is those videos of him, Casey Push, like sitting in his garage. He looked like a retard. He was sitting there, you know, saying nothing, but saying a lot at the same time. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, we want a serious movement. We don't want to support someone who's going to be, you know, tuning up their car instead of running a good campaign. So it really doesn't make any sense for us. You know, fuck Casey Push. Fuck Dan Bilzerian. They're complete losers who have nothing to do with anything America First. And especially Dan, where he's like completely on board with Muslims. It's like, what are we even doing? And he's a hedonist too.
Is that anyone out there trying to do something, there pops up Nick to criticize them right away. I mean, it just, he never allows anyone else to have some say in what's going on. From
do
what I've
something,
seen.
but okay, define do something.
What do you mean?
Just give me an example. If there's all these people doing something, you should be able to give me one.
Everybody who steps out, who is America First, anti-Israel, he's the first person. He'll make a video right away, and then he'll pull up some nonsense about them and say, well, this guy used to be a degenerate. What the fuck does that matter, bro? The guy. Can you
give me an example, though? Like, just give me an example.
Okay, let's go to Dan Bilzerian.
He's an idiot. he's an idiot. He's not
exactly my point. What does it matter, bro? They're all idiots. They're all idiots. But we need somebody that's actually like leading the charge in this direction. He stops everybody. He gets up and tries to stop these people from or spread or create like a bad.
Totally true, Merely Reed. Yeah, I don't even know if that's the case, but I just don't think he's very smart. I think he's kind of an idiot himself. Daily Wright is a moron, and his point is basically like, so what if they're all dumbasses and they're all idiots? Like, we should still support them because they're like all right. It's like, maybe not. Maybe we should like conserve our views and, you know, maybe not like go for someone who looks like a moron who's not going to win no matter what. You know, even if he had 40% of the takeaway, you know, from the vote, it wouldn't matter. He's still a loser, and the problem is that he has zero funding. I'm not sure if he even knows that, but Dan Bilzerian has zero funding. You can look on X right now. He has gotten zero donations, literally zero. So there's no point in paying that guy any mind at all.
Impression of them, you know, bad sentiment out there about
because
these people.
Dan Bilzerian is not America First. He is not the essence of America First.
Yeah,
no, he is not. He is not a Christian. He is not a no.
Nick
people don't get to come into the movement simply because they're
time out. I'm gonna moderate real quick. Okay. Can we define America First?
Exactly.
It is a pro-white,
definitely not
pro-Christ.
Fuentes. Okay, go ahead.
So the guy who's literally brought the name to its power is not the person who's running the movement.
Yes.
That is the most retarded shit I've ever heard in my life.
That's you can't just trademark a concept. America First isn't.
He did, and it's his show. I mean, okay, this is insane. Its name is his show is literally America First. Like, it is trademarked.
America First.
It's an idea.
You represent America first. Like, you don't want any other countries involved. This is a simple idea that anyone can get behind.
So on this point right here, he's saying that it can't be trademarked. First of all, it is. So that's first of all. Second of all, That's not true at all. Dan Bilzerian has no America First positions besides we shouldn't fund Israel. His entire personality is revolved around Israel. All he cares about is Israel. He doesn't know anything about politics at all. You know what I mean? Like, he knows nothing about politics. His whole thing is like, oh yeah, fuck Israel. Like, let's go over there and slaughter them all. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we really doing here? Politics is about more than just Israel. And I know we're all grapers here, but like, are we really going to just go for some guy who is like down for brown clowns and, you know, okay with immigration as long as it's not Israelis? Like, what is even that? So, yeah, that's just ridiculous.
And
It's
it's
not.
existed for as long as this country's
I
existed.
do think that's too broad of a
Yeah.
definition.
It is specifically the first thing, pro Christ, right? First thing, it is pro Christ, pro white, nationalist, American movement. It is for the interest of our people. The entire direction of the movement is to get things to be in the best interest
is our
of
people?
America. It would be Americans.
Yeah.
It would be white people primarily, the predominant kind of heritage buildup of what this country is.
I don't know if you would. I mean, that just narrows it down to a very tiny sliver of like even the name America First.
He's saying that would narrow it down to a tiny sliver. We're like over 50% of the population right now. And, you know, Nick doesn't discriminate as well. He's not just going to be like, oh, yeah, if you're brown, get out. If you're down with our message and you're fine with deporting your own people, which is what's going to happen if Nick gets in power, like those people are gone, then you can stay. But if you're one of those people who's like, well, I'm brown and my family, you know, I don't want them to leave. So, you know, then you're gone. So what he's saying here is like, that's too broad of a definition and we need to have this like populist mentality. It's like, no, you know, if you want to have populism, go watch Beryllium, dude. Like, for real, bro.
You just created like your own little definition of what it is. I think the name or the words themselves, America First, you stand for America First. I think you've created like a sub culture or sub pocket of what it means.
Well, I guess I would
Maybe
ask
that's what
you.
it
I would
means
ask
to
you,
Nick
Daily-
Fuentes.
I would ask you. I mean, where do you stand on the birthright ruling yesterday? Is kind of a question that.
Well,
kinda
you should hear
dives
what
into
Daily
this.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, Daily Right. Let us know how you feel about birthright
We talked
citizens.
about that last night, actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not okay with that, with what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, right. So we can all agree to be against
we
anchor
don't, we don't want
babies.
anchor
But now
babies.
they're American, and you saying that America First is
Correct.
taking care of them also.
So because the process is messed up doesn't mean that the concept is bad. So
What the
if you
fuck
didn't
is this
have
guy
anchor
talking
babies and
about?
that was removed, what about all the other Americans that are here? Or what about naturalized Americans that get naturalized and become American, which we all are, by the way.
I
mean,
just
at some
I don't-
point we all became naturalized in this country. Did we not?
Nah, I was born American.
no.
No.
Yeah.
What if you go
I was
far back
conceived
enough,
American.
Okay, we are
Yeah,
hold
but
on.
if you go
Like we're
far
literally
back
jumping around all over the place, and I'm
We
trying
are.
to actually make sense of what's even going on here. Like to be pro America First. So here's the thing too, is it's like there is a recognition in the fact of obviously like because we're being way too broad here. The fact that the Supreme Court ruled yesterday or 2 days ago when it came down that there was that now that birthright citizenship or the status quo is going to be recognized, even though the amendment is quite literally being explicitly violated by when it was reformed back in 1866 by I think his name was Hagen, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. They're quite literally just like pretending that doesn't exist. The position is also we're not okay. The deportation thing is just. That's not happening. It's not happening in 2028. It's not happening in 2032.
Yeah.
It's out there. Okay, maybe a chance it
Somebody
happens in
clip that.
2032. Yeah, hopefully there's a chance. Well, again, but here's the purpose.
But the problem with that ruling had to
I will say too, this guy's fucking talking about like, oh, what about the ruling? It's like, yeah, Trump appointed the justices. If Trump had just appointed good justices to his cabinet, this wouldn't have never happened. There would be no birthright citizenship. In the next, if we do get the dark horse candidate that we want in 2028, we could have that. But the problem is people like this are going to be like, oh, but like this and that. And like, they're always going to come up with something like Dissident Wire. Like, he's not serious. And if you didn't know, he completely infiltrated Atlas's Discord and tried to expose him and commented. There was a comment on this channel. If I can go down, if you can see my screen right here. Can you guys see this? Yeah, you can. Okay. So this guy said, I literally stood up and applauded Atlas Thugged when I heard him passionately define America first. Then he fends off this guy, Daily Antifa Riot, for engaging in continuum fallacy. Well done, Atlas. Much appreciated, brother. Trying to do my part. Antifa ? That's hilarious. I said, honestly, Jake Shields would do a better job of debating than you. GG though, little bro. Like, this guy is a sore loser. Like, he can't stand losing a debate. And I would debate him in the future too, but if he's not on good terms with Atlas, then I won't, because, that's my boy. So let's move on.
Do with the anchor baby thing, right? Not that we're opposed to the idea of like people becoming naturalized through the correct process of becoming an American.
No, the problem with that ruling is there's women sitting on the court.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's the problem with everything.
Agreed.
But that,
Well, that's what I was going to say back to you. You said the whole.
Let's go ahead, finish.
I guess my broader point is I don't understand when it's like we're a pro-white movement. That doesn't, being pro-white does not automatically come with the tag of like, well, to be pro-white you have to have the deportations. I don't understand that. It's like, of course we would want the mass deportations. We literally voted in a guy who ran with rallies that said mass deportations. The problem is the mass deportations aren't fucking happening because the average person in this country is just a basic retarded, just walks along and just takes as does what they're told.
Deport them.
We would love to. I would love to deport these people. But the point being is like you're talking about America First being this weird like subculture. It's like I don't even understand what that point is.
no,
That's always been what America First has been.
The way you defined it, I think you narrowed it down way too much for the idea. I mean, maybe America First trademark Nick Fuentes is what that means.
I think
America
that's what
First.
most Groypers argue, though, is that America First is a Fuentestic movement.
So you don't
Right.
believe that there's a concept of America First without Nick Fuentes?
Listen, I'm a Sebastian Gorka America Firster, obviously, for obvious reasons.
So America First existed before him. As a matter of fact, MAGA was supposed to be the same thing, was supposed to be America First.
I will say to this comment, it's totally not true, bro. MAGA was Make America Great Again, and he didn't. He fumbled it. And saying that it's the same thing as America First is just retarded, bro. Like, it's completely retarded. It makes zero sense. And Nick has been on this for like, what, 10, almost 11 years now? So, yeah, it's just ridiculous. And at the end of the day, too, these people will never get it. They will literally never get it. It's not in their brain. They don't understand that Nick is the leader. And I heard Right Wing Coalition or Joey talk about this, where it's like, you do need a figurehead. You need someone to represent the movement. You cannot just like spawn a movement out of nowhere and have everyone follow it. And one of the good examples, I did an episode with Foulball, and Joey from Right Wing Coalition had a episode with Frojax, which are like more of like the Wignat crowd, but they seem like good guys, just maybe a little bit misguided. But he was talking about how, like, if you want to change the culture, you need the star football player to be right wing. You need these like giant figures to be right wing. And Nick is that. He might not be a football player, but he is the best political speaker that we have. There's no questions about it. Like, I could never rant as good as he can. Atlas can never rant as good as he can. None of us can. And that's why we rally behind him, because he does have genuine genius around political thought. So,
Right.
It was supposed to be. It's in the name. Make America great again, right? Like,
Yeah,
that's
but
where the credo comes from. America
what-
first. America first. Everybody remembers the credo. If you've watched the show, you know where it comes from.
You can call it a ham sandwich, but the idea is the same.
oh, brother.
It's
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
not, though.
here we are. This is the sticking point. I mean, who defines it, and how does it get defined? And one side said Nick gets to define it, and then
Do you want to grow your coding
Oh,
skills?
boy.
We can help with that. We're Code Academy.
everybody else says it's a free game essentially.
I'll,
This is the
next
you know,
stream
I guess you
I'll
can go
have
from Amy
the
Dangerfield
YouTube
to
Premium
Verillion
uploaded,
to
by the way.
has Dan Bilzerian claimed it, Tucker Carlson, whoever else, all the way down the line. It's like, who gets to define this thing? And we're arguing over essentially the future of America is kind of the question here, and how do we get there, along with the core question, which is who falls under this banner of America?
So let me ask you
And-
this: if you can expand the definition
I
out
think
a
we're all
little bit
moderates.
more, if you can expand the definition out a little bit more
I
on
wouldn't.
America first,
It's already
where would
too broad.
Where would it go?
But there's the thing. I already think it's too broad, but it's too broad in a way that I can't affect change, right? In the sense that there's a pragmatic and practical element to this, which is, of course, if I could snap my fucking fingers, I would disappear every single illegal immigrant and illegal immigrants for the most part out of this country. I think Black
Nine,
Americans, that's another
MT
side
the
story
goat,
than something
or
to be
N the
revisited.
goat.
The issue being, though, is it's like, it sucks because it's like, it feels like I'm the only one engaging in pragmatic and
Also, shout out Romulus for following me. The goat.
practical reality, which is, as much as I want these people to go, there's nothing I can do besides beg the government to do it or go grab a rifle and do it myself until I go to jail. So it's like,
Also, I won't react to the whole stream. This is 2.5 hours. So, and at some point it does kind of go in circles. Ramos, did you see the full interview? Because yeah, it does kind of go in circles at some point. So as soon as it does get to that point where it circulates, I'll probably end the stream. But if you guys enjoy, make sure to like, and I'll continue to post more or do more live streams as long as Atlas isn't on. And yeah, it'll be fun. I'm trying to build a little community. Hopefully it's similar to Atlas instead of New American Vision, because that chat is a shit show. So yeah, and yeah, Romeo says, I'll put it on here. Yeah, you saw yourself. Yeah, it did go into circles, and at some point, it's really not worth continuing to react to it. But we'll get to about like halfway through, and if we find some good nuggets in there, I'll add on to it. But yeah,
that's the pragmatic element of this.
How do you make it? You don't you want it to be more of a populist thing?
No.
Where you can actually make some traction. If you keep limiting it, you narrow down the base and the amount of, let's say voters, if you believe that makes a difference.
I wouldn't do populist because populism is where Verillium's taking it, and I think that's retarded. It's now, because to go populist, you have to remove what? The first thing that goes is the pro-white identity.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you don't want to get rid of that. That's like the core the core of it. But like there's white people that weren't necessarily born in this country that have been naturalized, for example.
Well, that's the way the system was intended.
Good night,
it was for
Mary.
Europeans.
Right. So they would be
Shout
considered
out
American.
the goat.
Yeah. If you were like a second generation imported from a European nation, a predominantly white European nation, it would be like, yeah, it's much easier to digest down than someone who's a first generation Haitian, a first generation Somalian, a first generation, Syrian. You could go all across the board. Zeb's eating food. That's crazy.
So this is why I think it's more of a cultural thing than anything else. I think there is
Like
a white
culture is the
culture.
expression of race, though.
I think it can be seen that way, but it can also be culture can change people's behavior, even though if you're another race. For example, take a Japanese baby and bring them here to the U.S. and raise them in an American family. Do you think he's going to be, trying to become a kamikaze pilot or whatever? He's going to act just as white as all of us. You know what I mean?
Is Jared Taylor Japanese?
I don't know.
Nope.
I don't know who that is.
Jared Taylor doesn't act Japanese. He's not Japanese. He was born and raised in Japan. He's a white dude that is.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, who's like a
over here.
white
it's like-
nationalist.
So the claim is, or my claim is that
This point makes me so annoyed because Jared Taylor is white. He's not Japanese. So and actually that's the point of our whole like discourse is like white people do assimilate to our culture. I'm sure you're thinking about the same thing, Romulus, where it's like, yeah, white people assimilate to European cultures better than other people. And to be fair, Asians do assimilate relatively well, but I have dated Asian girls. I won't anymore. I'll only date white women, but when I did, they were different than when I dated white girls. They were a little bit more picky. They needed more upkeep. They wanted to go to salons to get their hair done and get their nails done. They weren't the same as like white girls where they're like, they're attractive to begin with and they don't need all the pampering. Or, if they do, it's a special treat or whatever. It's the idea that the character is universal. Not everybody can assimilate. Yeah, exactly. And that's the point he's making. It's basically the whole like, as long as you believe in the American system and you follow the Constitution and you speak English, you're American. No, the fuck you aren't. You're not American. You'll never be American. You'll never be white, and I'll never be Japanese. And that's the easiest point everyone makes when they're debating these people. It's like, do you want Japan to be Japanese? When you go there, do you want to see the culture? When you go to Mexico, do you want to be Mexican and experience the Mexican culture? When you go to, Korea, do you want it to be Korean? Whatever country you want to pick. If you go to Persia, do you want it to be Persian so you can experience that culture? It's like if white people are gone off the face of the earth, then what is there to experience besides multiculturalism that's already all over the world? You know what I mean? It's just retarded.
assimilation isn't real. It takes generations, even if we import Europeans. Europeans coming to America naturalized or birthright or you name it, still isn't American. American is a
Also, that's not true either. What Zeb just said, where Europeans can come in, it takes generations for them to assimilate, that's not true. There are people who come from Germany, from like all over Europe, all over the UK. As soon as their kid is on this land and, they're in our country, as soon as they're like 13 years old, they're speaking American English. They are American because they do assimilate better. The problem is not the peoples, it's the cultures. So if Asians come into our country, that's why you have Asian parents stereotypes in America, because Asian parents are super strong on, math and science and like just school in general. Like we have stereotypes about that because that's how they are. They, and even if they do quote unquote assimilate, they still do have preferential treatment towards other Asians. I dated an Asian girl. I've dated multiple, and literally every one of their friends, every one of their girlfriends is Asian. That's not because they were forced to hang out with other Asians. That's because they have an in-group preference. So that's what I'll say about that. That's
Boils
just
down to
bullshit.
quite literally genetics at this point. And then, I mean, if you want to become an
Tix
American, you
was
got to give me
losing in the
you got to give
chat,
me
yeah.
a couple generations.
I love
That being
Tix though.
said,
We've been gaming together.
let me throw my hat in the
Dallas.
ring on the America First position.
I am his co-host.
And I think it's
on,
purely
Pick on the
somebody said
Weekends.
something about Buchanan in chat. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Because I think, I mean, Buchanan, Uncle Halsey, he said, Buchanan said the three pillars were nationalism, social conservatism, and economic populism when he said America First. And I mean, I think it's pretty close. Pretty close. I mean, those are like the three things you want to look at. I would argue, what do you mean by conservative? And I would argue, you know, the economic position needs to be almost isolationist at this point. And so, I mean, if we can get behind that as a general, I think we can maybe take a step forward together. Obviously, we're still going to be at odds on some of these questions, but I mean, this is a numbers game, whether we want to fight it from a numbers position or not. Meaning it's a numbers game, and we get to vote the president in. That is this NatSoc German.
Wait, Romulus, do you want me to skip forward to the more contentious part, or do you want me to stick to this part? I'll wait for you to respond, but I know there is some more interesting parts in here. And yeah, I understand. You said I understand dating Asian women. They tend to have the right personality, but it's just not right. Yeah, I agree. And honestly, too, Asian women are hot. Like, I hate when people do this LARP of like, you know, other races aren't hot. Like, there are Latinas that are hot. There are Asians that are hot. And for me, I am heavily attracted to Asian women. But I can't do it because of my race. You know, you know, we're dwindling in population, so I just can't. And I have a girl who's like 4'9", who's hot as hell, who's Asian, who matched with me on a dating app, but I just, you know, I just can't do that. And there's also a hot white girl who added me too, but it's like I just can't betray the future of my people. And also, it's like, I do want to have kids who look like me. You know, when I was 18, 19, when I was dating these Asian girls, I wasn't thinking about having kids, you know, but now that I'm 24, I'm like, okay, well, you know, maybe I do want to have kids who look like me. Let's find a part in this video that are more
real ties to his homeland. This
trying to find a
continuous
part.
Charlie, those are people like Candace Owen. Those three.
Where did this guy come? Another guy.
That's fine.
the outlets picked it.
I don't think we ever got a name for.
Start from here.
But that was the one that came like a couple hours later, like near the area, like unnamed. And then Tyler Robinson, I do believe, was the fourth. And then they deemed it was the correct person.
So the third one wasn't even really reported on. I think two outlets picked it up prior to.
What about the guy who actually tried to turn himself in too? Another guy, the old guy, the bald one. I forget his name.
That's what we were talking about. The crazy, crazy Jew guy.
George Zinn.
So everything was on the up and up. Yeah, Zinn, that's what it was. If everything was on the up and up, and there was nothing to cover up or create, where did this guy come from? Why did he do that in the first place?
He did it multiple times. He did it at the Boston.
Yeah, why?
At the. I couldn't tell you. You ask him like why a schizophrenic sees faces I don't see. I literally couldn't explain that to you.
Give the actual people time to get out of there. They were probably helping occupy law enforcement and create
Almost seems like this guy is
to allow people to
schizophrenic,
get out of
honestly.
there, do whatever they needed to do.
Okay,
I mean,
and
it's possible.
so
I think it's largely irrelevant, to be honest.
yeah, George.
But
I mean,
it's just every little piece just adds to it, not adding up to the official story, which Nick Fuentes says is exactly what happened.
But I would actually agree with you on this if I could give my fuller point, because I predicted months ago that Tyler Robinson is going to get an innocent verdict. I don't think that they're going to be able to rule that Tyler Robinson is guilty because of the massive preponderance of evidence.
Yeah,
and I
if
think
you
one of the
want
major
to, if you want to watch Nick, I can end the stream now. Just let me know in chat. Since you're the only one in here, I'll do another stream later on the weekends when he isn't streaming, because I'm not trying to counter signal Nick, you know. I definitely want to make sure that I'm doing my part as far as the movement goes. So just let me know. As long as it's not just the intro or whatever. But if you want me to end stream, then I can go watch it as well. Because, I definitely want to catch up. No, you're good, bro. I'm going to end stream as well. Just, I'll finish up where I'm at tomorrow. So shout out Romulus, the GOAT. Yeah, bro. I'm going to go watch the stream as well. Good night, dog.